I'll show you 4 essential country guitar riffs, which will give us a chance to talk about several important country guitar techniques at the same time. Here's the riffs. Some of you will be able to just watch that video, slow it down, use the tabs, and learn the riffs. And if that's all you want to do, that's fine. But we will be diving a little deeper here and getting our fingers on these. And as we do that, we'll be able to talk through several important techniques to country guitar, like bending, sliding, and that chicken picking, the hybrid picking, where we use our pick and our right hand fingers at the same time. We'll be talking about intervals like sixths. We use that a couple times right here, and this whole riff is using both double stops and intervals of sixths. Right, and that riff also uses chromaticism, where we go out of the scale, the key of A scale, and we just connect the dots chromatically, and that's another important country guitar technique. And then finally, we'll do some volume solos at the end there, which is essentially, when you see people doing that, we're mimicking a pedal steel guitar. It's a very country guitar technique that we're going to get our hands on too. All right? If you want to go even deeper when we're done, we won't only learn it in the key of A, but we'll learn it in the key of G and E as well. And that's really when we'll be able to internalize these riffs, and it will become more than just an exercise, but something that we can use out there in the real world when we're making music. Okay, let's get our fingers on these riffs in the key of A that you just watched. So the first one is this. All right, our fingers are right here between frets 2 and 5. We're already using bending and hybrid picking in this first riff. We have 4th fret of G, 5th fret of B, and I'm picking the G string, and I'm going to call it clucking on the B string. I'm clucking this B string with the middle finger of my right hand. This first bend, when we're bending, we need to know how far we want to bend, what our target pitch is. This first bend, the target pitch is a half step right here. Right? And we're picking and clucking at the same time, going a half step on the G string. Then while it's bent, we pick and cluck again, pull off to 2 of G, then 4 of D, 2 of G, and then this time our target pitch is going to be a whole step. So we're going to pick that G string, and then cluck later that B string, and then bring it back down on G and over to the 2nd fret. All right, one more time, 2, 3, 4. Next riff. All right, so here we have double stops, playing 2 strings at the same time. We have sliding. We're going to slide 2 to 4 on the D string, and then cluck, more hybrid picking, that 3rd fret of B, and then we have more sliding here on the G string, 2, 4, 5, and then hybrid picking here on the 3rd fret of B, 5, 4, 2 on G, and then one more time, 2 to 4. And this kind of hybrid picking, this is a fairly straightforward riff here, just because of the speed, but if you get that technique down, it's a lot of that same motion. It's just a matter of getting that technique, applying that to different scales, different areas of the neck. But as you do it more and more, it gets more and more comfortable, and you can go faster and faster. But that's just a little taste of that technique, okay? And then this next riff is all double stops. Again, we have sixths. And that's chromaticism right there. Let's get just that much first. We're going to hammer onto the 1st fret of G with our pick, and then cluck that open E string. 1st fret of G again, 2nd fret and then we're going to pluck the 2nd fret of high E, slide them both up to 3, that's the chromatic walk up, and then pick and cluck at the same time the 4th fret of G and high E. And then continuing the riff, so we were on the 4th fret, we're going to pick that again, slide all the way up to 7 on G, cluck that 7th fret of high E, pick the G string again, up to 8, both slide up but don't have to do anything special on the E string, and then pick and cluck the 9th fret together. Okay? And then we have this kind of pedal steel riff where we're going to pre-bend. Pre-bending is another great country guitar technique. We're going to pre-bend. We're trying to get this pitch, but we're starting here, right? 12 and 12 of B and high E. But we're going to pre-bend that up. Roll your volume knob. If you have a Telecaster or a guitar where the knob is where you can reach it with your pinky, roll it back about 50%. If not, you're going to have to use a volume pedal if you want to do this trick, all right? But we're going to go to about 50% pre-bend. As we're coming down, we're going to roll the volume up and then pull off to the 10th fret of B, and then roll it back to 50%, and we're going to roll it back in as we bend up, that full step on the B string. And that is how we get these 4 essential country guitar riffs, which, as you can tell, are packed with some essential country guitar techniques as well. Now, another really important part of learning riffs and learning techniques is not just getting stuck and doing them in just one spot. Because practically, we don't just play in one key, right? And if you're jamming, ultimately we want to be able to be with a group of other musicians and be able to jam, right? And they might not want to play in the key of A or exactly this backing track. So let's learn these in the key of G. And as we do that, we'll talk about some tricks to help us figure out where to play if we want to play in a different key. Trick number 1, we all know this A chord shape, right? So we can start the riff. It's this shape, open, 2, 2, 2. This A chord. We can start the riff with this finger position being between 2 and 5 because we know that's kind of the chord shape, right? So we can base our pointer finger right there on that A shape. An even better way to do it is scales. We know that this is position 5 pentatonic, an A major, all right? People get hung up on that a lot. A lot of people learn the minor pentatonic, but in A major, this is position 5 pentatonic. So if we want to do this exact same thing with the G backing track, you've got the tabs there, you can see where it is. Let's find position 5 pentatonic in the key of G, which is right here in G major. Right? Also, what's this shape of A? Where do we play that shape if we want to play a G chord? It'd be right here. So we can get our pointer finger right there by that G chord, and that's also position 5 pentatonic, right? So if we want to play this in G, we're going to do that exact same riff. We're just going to play it in G pentatonic instead of A, excuse me. All right, this next one, same kind of thing. In the key of A, the band moved to a D chord and we went. Well, not to get too theory on you, but we're still right in that position 5 pentatonic in the key of A, right? But also, if we know our chord shapes, this riff is all centered around this way of playing a D chord. All right, so if we're in the key of G now, that second chord in the progression is now a C chord. So if we were playing this way of playing D, we could play this C. It's a weird way to finger. I'm just showing you this for demonstration right here. Or you can go an octave up and you can play it right here, which is right where that position 5 pentatonic is in G major. So we can just do the exact same thing here that we did before over the D chord. Right? It's the same motions with our fingers. We're playing it in a different key now. We're playing it using a different scale. This next one is much more tricky because we had an open string. But we can get around that. What we're doing here is we're riffing on an E7, right? This is an E7 too. And then also if you take this E7, that's an E7 too, right? Sixths are a part of an E7 chord. So this is all based around an E7. In the key of G, we need to base it around a D7. So if we have this shape for an E7, where are we going to find that for a D7? And it's going to be right here. This is on the 10th fret. And so this motion, if we want to reproduce that over this D7, we'll go. And then the rest of it, you just follow this exact same thing. Right? And then we have the same kind of thing with the bend. We did this in the key of A. So this is based really in position 3 of A major pentatonic. Right? So position 3 of G major pentatonic would be right there. So we're going to be here on the 10th fret. So now these riffs are becoming a lot more useful, right? Because we don't only know them in the key of A. Now we're figuring out not only how to play them in the key of G, but how to move them to whatever key we're in. So let's do the exercise one more time for the key of E. If we were in position 5 pentatonic to start, of A major, also knowing this chord shape is kind of another place to base it around. Then we moved up to G in G major pentatonic. If we wanted to do this with the key of E, let's find that shape of an E chord. All right, and where's position 5 pentatonic in E major? All right, so we know this is our position now, and this is our new key. So let's do the exact same riff. All right, exact same thing with the next chord. In the key of A, the 4 chord is a D, and the band started playing a D. And we looked at this shape, right? If we're in the key of E now, the 4 chord is going to be an A chord. So to play this shape, this is a D. To play this shape as an A, we move up here. And sure enough, we're right in that same position. So we're going to slide in. And boom, we got it. And then for this next riff over the 5-7 chord, which in the key of A was the E7, in the key of G was this D7, in the key of E it's a B7. So we know it's, right, it was here. We're just going to do the same thing but shift it up and down the neck to be in the right key, okay? So here's a B7. And there we go. We just found the right position to play this whole thing in the key of E. And the last one, same kind of thing. We were in position 3 pentatonic in A, right? Major pentatonic. In E, that would be here. So we'd have this. All right, so you don't have to stop there. You could do it in any key you want using the exact same methods we just talked about. But we do have the backing tracks here for you. We have the full demonstrations too, the tabs. If you're into this kind of thing, subscribe to our course at 6 String Country. We have a whole country picking course on there, and it will do stuff like this, stuff a little easier, a little harder, and then we'll get into really advanced stuff. And if you follow the course and you really, apply yourself, you can go from kind of struggling to learning these kind of things to doing some pretty advanced stuff. Just a matter if you want to put the work in. So that's at 6stringcountry.com. Thanks for watching.